Good morning. Today we're going to give you an overview of the Circles IDS. You'll be accessing this from a different website. I'm actually running this locally on my machine, but the two things are identical. So you would normally access this at www.circlesdata.org. Anyway, whenever you get to this main screen, you're going to see 5 tabs across the top. You'll also see down here that there's my email address, and there's the YouTube channel where you can see our training videos. And obviously, if you're watching this, you know about the YouTube channel. The other thing that you should notice about this window are the webinars. And the webinars give us the ability to, it's something that we do every Tuesday. We do it at 11 Eastern Time, and they usually take 45 minutes to an hour. And we have a topic each time as to what we're going to do. And also once a month we do basic training where we give you a complete overview of the system and how it all works. Pretty similar to what you're going to see in this video. The next thing you'll want to do is you'll want to log in. You can have it keep your name and password. That's what I've done here, and so I log in. Now the first thing you'll notice is that I have new tabs here. I have chapter tab, tasks, research. These will be different depending upon what your role in the data system is. Staff admin can see things that a team member or staff member may not be able to see. So I'm just going to go here to the first tab and select chapter. There are 2 levels of information about chapter. There's chapter and sites. If you only run one site, there's not a lot of reason for you to start at the chapter level, and so we'll show you how to just run at the site level. But the chapter gives us all the information about the view. Now, in the data system, there are only 4 kinds of windows. There's a view window, there's a create window, there's an update window, and there's a manage window. The view window is where you will spend a large part of your time in the data system, because this is how you get access to tables that are sitting below your particular entity. So for the chapter, you'll probably want to go to Manage Sites, and you'll now see that we're in a Manage screen. The Manage screen allows us to find records that deal with the particular table of data that we're dealing with. And I'll talk about this more when we get into the volunteers, because we'll have more to deal with. To get to the view window for any of the records that appear here in the Manage screen, you'll click this little icon right here. We refer to it as the view icon. It looks like a magnifying glass. It will become your best friend, because this is how you navigate from parent records to child records in the data system. So I'm going to go to the site called Circles New Mexico by clicking that button. Now you'll notice again that I'm in the view window for the site Circles New Mexico. Okay, I'm in a different table now, and you'll see that the operations down this side have changed. So the concept of parent-child here is that for each site you can have multiple volunteers. For each site you can have multiple staff. For each site you can have multiple groups. For each circle group you can have multiple circle leaders. For a circle leader, you can have multiple progress reports. You can have multiple goals. You can have those kinds of things. You'll notice here that we have information about the site, Circles New Mexico. You can have information here on your website, all that kind of stuff. We'll eventually be tying in the chapter and site stuff to the Circles USA database, so that when you click on a thing up there, you'll be able to go directly to the websites of the local sites and chapters. There are two things that you see in here that may not be self-explanatory. We asked each one of you to complete your data, by the end of March. If you did that, you should have marked this yes. The other thing here is percent of poverty guidelines to be economically stable. In Albuquerque, which is where Circles New Mexico is, we've determined that that's 2.1 times the poverty guideline, or 210%. You'll need to fill this in based upon your research about what it takes to be economically stable at your site. Let's just go look at volunteers very quickly. You'll see that the volunteer screen, again, we're in a managed screen. Managed screens have a lot of functionality to them, and we'll talk about these now. Right now, you'll notice that this is in last name order. If I want to see it in order by first name, I can just click on first name. And if I click it again, it goes in reverse order. I can click it on last name, and it'll be in last name order. These little boxes that sit below here are search boxes. So if I want to find the information for myself, I would type Ellison into the last name field and then tab out. To get back to all the records, I just delete and tab out. Okay, so you can see that there's pages and pages of these. Okay, so I want to look at my particular record, so I'm going to search for it, and then I'm going to go to view. Now this is the information that we keep on the volunteer, and then down the right hand side there are operations that we can perform. So if we want to create a new volunteer, we can hit create. If I want to update this record, I can say update. You probably won't have the delete volunteer ability. You would have the ability to manage the volunteer, which would take us back to the screen we were on before. If a team member or staff member has done any tracking or follow-up with the volunteer, it will appear here. If the volunteer has done training, it will appear here. If they have attended Circles meetings, they'll be here. Okay. If they have skills, you can manage those here. These are some of my skills. And if you want to create a new skill record, you just go there. These things that I'm pushing up here are what we call breadcrumbs. And breadcrumbs allow us to navigate back to a prior parent record. So if I wanted to go back to site, I could click site, and I'm back into the site of Circles New Mexico. Now, these breadcrumbs are very important as you learn to navigate the system. As you're creating records, updating records, navigating around in the system, you're going through a lot of windows. So if I'm starting a new circle group and I've added 10 new circle leaders, and I start hitting the back button, I'm going to go back through all of that work that I've just done. And I don't really want to do that, so I would just hit the appropriate place in the breadcrumb. Manage staff's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to spend any time there. Managing circle groups. These are your cohorts of circle leaders. Okay. This is the basic information that we keep on the circle groups. The name, city, state, whether it's active, and which curriculum you're using, Getting Ahead, Circle Leader 1, Circle Leader 2, so on. To update that, I would just hit the update. To manage the circle leaders associated with this group, I hit the view, the manage, okay, and here I am. So I'm in a manage screen again. This manage screen works exactly the same way. If I want it by first name, last name, so on. If I want to see information on a particular circle leader, I can hit the view icon and I'll see information about Art Gonzalez. Now, down the right hand side you'll see there's lots of operations. We allow you to track information for circle leaders' children. We just keep birth date, names, that kind of thing. You can manage their allies. So these are Art's allies. You can view the circle leader profile. And the circle leader profile has information that we don't want just anyone to see. That's associated with the circle leader. And this will actually be changing before conference because we'll be adding some new items in here. But this is where you have your information about whether or not they've given consent, whether or not they're in generational or situational poverty, ethnic background, what their circle leader status is, if they're in an active match circle or discontinued, whatever they are. There will also be information in here about what track they're on, whether it's employment, education, or other. And there will be several other things that will be moved into the profile. So the profile can be viewed or updated from the operations menu. You can view Art's attendance. So this would be his attendance records. You can see his surveys. These have been known in the past as progress reports. We're calling them surveys. And you'll see here that he has several different surveys. Again, you can search for these or do whatever. If you want to see the information on the survey itself, you can click View and you'll see all the information on the survey. Okay. It's all in the same order as you enter it on the form. We keep information about life assessments. This is new for many of you. But this is an area where we keep information on where they are in relationship to food, physical health, financial, shelter, transportation, work, child care, health care, physical abuse, so on. There's 18 of these. These are something that they determine where they are in relationship to, you know, they're thriving, they're secure, they're stable, they're vulnerable, so on. And we're going to be tracking these each time that we do a circle leader survey. So it will be done at the beginning of circle leader training. It'll be done again at graduation and then every 6 months after that. This information is very helpful and stuff that we want to keep on the circle leaders. There's a place here for managing their goals, managing employment, managing work keys. Now, work keys are going to be new for some of you, but they're not going to be for others. This is a program that's administered by ACT, the people that do the college testing, and it evaluates what their ability is in applied math, reading for information, and organizing information. And employers are finding out that this is actually better information than what they get from the other sources. And you can also manage coach notes. Now, coach notes are a place where you can keep a lot of data about any contact that you've had with either a circle leader or a volunteer. These notes, I mean, you can practically write a book in here if you're interested. Most of you won't be, but you can. And this starts to create a chronological record of all of the contacts and stuff that we've had with either volunteers or circle leaders. We found, nationally, if a coach leaves or if a coordinator leaves, there's often a real lack of information for the new person to kind of know what they've done, where they've been, where the people are that they're associated with. And this gives us a place to keep all of that information. And it can be pretty powerful. Okay. Teams can be your guiding coalition teams, community recruitment, big view, income and education, so on. Or it might be some special team that you've put together to do like a spring fundraiser. Here again, to get to the records that comprise the community team, I can manage positions. There's a chair, there's meals, there's greeting table, attendance, room setup, circle leader training, and child care, okay, for our team. And then I can assign users to these positions. So my wife Mary and I were the co-chairs of the community team. Jose was responsible for recording attendance. He also did room setup. Delma and Linda Fuentes did childcare, and Susie Cheney and Lene Havens chased meals. So it allows me to keep track of all of those. It also allows these people to send tasks. So these are my requested tasks. I've requested these of others, okay? And whenever I create a task, you can give it a description, task type, date, notes, what the status is, and then you can assign this to a user. So I'm going to assign this to the admin. And it can be either about a volunteer, a circle leader, or a partner. And the reason these are here is so that you can identify these. And so if this is associated with a volunteer, so I want her to call Roxanne Allen and find out if she's coming to Big View. And I've assigned this to the admin. I hit the create key. Now, what it's going to do is send an email to the admin. Okay, and it'll show up in the admin's box. And in that, there's going to be a link to this particular record. Okay. And what it does is then allows them to come back into this record and update it, do whatever. And the nice part is it'll just be one click to get to Roseanne Allen's information, so that I can update it, that kind of stuff if I need to. Maybe her email address has changed, or phone number or something that I find out when I'm talking to her. Okay. So that's tasks, and you can have both assigned and requested tasks. We're going to go back here, and we're going to look at partners. No, we're going to look at training. Training allows us to set up training courses. Ally 101, say. Ally 101 can then have a training schedule of when they're teaching this class. If you go to the view for that, you can manage attendance. Okay, this is where you would add people that have been to the training and if they've completed that training. And that way we know what they've done when we're looking at their records. So you have the ability to handle training. Partners are the outside individuals, agencies, organizations and stuff that we deal with. And this gives us a place in there to manage contacts. They can have multiple contacts for a partner. They can have multiple roles. Navera Systems, which is my company, provides services and funding to Circles New Mexico, so I have multiple roles here. And then you can manage communications, okay, that we've had with them. So I'm talking with somebody, and I can just keep a big note here on what the conversation was. That way, if anybody goes back, they know what's happening. So there's a place there to deal with that. We can manage the weekly meetings. Okay. This is a big view meeting. You can keep notes. You can keep how many meals you served so that we know later how many meals have been served during the year. And you can record in here what the topic was for the big view. So we were talking cliff effects, and we served 45 meals. Senator Heinrichs, Chief of Staff, presented on constituent services. And results presented information on doing epic talks. And then we save this. And then we can go see who attended this, both circle leaders and volunteers, okay, for these meetings. So that's kind of a cool thing. We're excited about some of that. Coach's notes you've seen. If you're engaging with an employer, we engage with an employer here that is the Community Health Service. They have Medicaid navigators, and we have a relationship with them so that circle leaders are filling some of those positions. So we can manage information about the employers, who the contacts are, what positions they have, and at the circle leader level, track the employment. Volunteer skills, this is where you would create users for a site, and then you can update the password or update the site information. So that gives you a really good overview of what the data system is capable of doing. We're going to be doing additional videos around each of the modules. So there will be a module around managing volunteers, managing circle groups, circle leaders, doing circle leader surveys, partners, training teams, weekly meeting. There's some new functionality that you're going to see by conference that are called analysis grids, and we'll be teaching you how to use these. And these are where you can take the raw data in the system and create it into really powerful reports. And on these analysis grids, you'll get about 4 or 5 pre-specified reports. And then if you have other requirements, you can generate them on your own. You can create graphs and do a lot of pretty wonderful things. Anyway, we're excited about the acceptance of the data system. And if you have questions, on the home screen, there's my email address. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and we'll be seeing you soon. So have a great day.